Hi, I'm John Fisher, and I am reading to you the catch today, which is called Jesus versus Religion from our series on characteristics of the Jesus movement today. There's a reason why it's called the Jesus movement. It was all about Jesus. In 1966, a gospel group named the Art Reynolds Singers recorded their song, Jesus is Just All Right. In 1969, the Byrds covered it. And then in 1972, the most popular version was released by the Doobie Brothers. Now, why did a gospel song about Jesus receive such mainstream attention? Because in 1969, and for a few years following, in fact, the Jesus movement was pretty much flanked by the various versions of this song. Jesus was just all right with a growing number of rock and roll fans all over the world. Suddenly, almost overnight, Jesus was acceptable to people who formerly would not have anything to do with God, religion, church, or Christianity. Suddenly, Jesus was a different story. In 1971, both Jesus Christ Superstar and Godspell came out on Broadway. Christian music got its start during this time, but it was an afterthought because Jesus was already showing up everywhere in pop culture. Norman Greenbaum, Creedence Clearwater, Barry McGuire, James Taylor, Bob Dylan, Peter Paul and Mary were all singing about Jesus and even the return of Christ to judge the world. While the younger generation was seeking answers to the big questions of life and struggling with student unrest, civil rights, and war in Vietnam, Bob Dylan was telling everyone that the answer was blowing in the wind. And indeed it was. It was the wind of the Spirit of God blowing people to Jesus. John 3:8. The reason why was important to people who were searching during the Jesus movement, as well as those searching today, is because faith is personal. Becoming a Christian is not just about placing faith in an intellectual belief or a doctrine or creed. It's a personal encounter. Jesus can be known in one's heart through the Holy Spirit. Our spirit bears witness with his spirit that these things are true. Jesus was radical and rebellious. He upset the traditional thinking about God and religion. The traditional religious establishment was so against Jesus that they were ultimately responsible for his death. It's the same today. Do you want to follow a TED Talk or a person? Do you want to follow a form of godliness or the power of Christ? Do you want to look like a Christian or be a Christian? The answers depend on what you do with Jesus. God created us for himself. He wants a relationship with us. That's why he made us in his image so we could walk, talk together. And how better to reveal himself to us but through human representation of himself? And what better expression of himself than through his only begotten Son? Not only has Jesus accomplished what was necessary for making us acceptable to God, Jesus is God's best idea of what a human being is. Read the Gospels, get to know Jesus, fall in love with him, watch what he does, feel his compassion, sense his tears, imagine his anger at prevent the children from coming to him, and wonder about his words, drink in his mercy and forgiveness. It all begins and ends with Jesus. Have you seen Jesus, my Lord? He's here in plain view. Take a look. Open your eyes. He'll show it to you. From the song, Have You Seen Jesus, My Lord, by John Fisher, 1970. Well, this is John Fisher coming to you from the catch of the day and grace turned outward.